we had on Saturday?
Yes, brother.
Okay. Okay. So today we'll just go through the course content, what we'll be covering in detail of the course content, what we'll be covering in next 24 or 25 sessions. Okay. Since most of you are new to SuccessFactors, I will walk you through. I will not go for speed. I'll try to go with slow pace because some of you have requested no to consider their non-IT experience. Okay, so I'll try to go in a slow pace. Okay.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, thank you. And let me share my screen. And wherever possible, if I have to show something, I'll show you on the system. Usually, I don't show anything on the system for first few days. Okay, because you don't know anything about how do we log in or what do we do in SuccessFactors. So I'll try to cover all the areas that we'll be covering in next 25 sessions. Okay, so as I said, first 4 sessions would be completely of theoretical part. I hope all of you can see my screen, right?
Yes, we can see.
Okay. So this is the course content. We have the entire content is split into 24 sessions. So sometimes it may take more 2 or 3 more sessions wherever you want to have some additional topics to be covered, or maybe you want to revisit some of the content like business rules. Business rules are the toughest parts of SuccessFactors. So if you want to have some additional scenarios to be covered, or you have some clarification, so we'd be taking those additional sessions. But the actual content, it takes 24 sessions. Okay. And we always start with the theoretical part. There are many things which you should know before getting into SuccessFactors, because now these might be some of the questions which interviewers asked you just to check your knowledge, whether you are really into SuccessFactors, or you have just learned and you're trying for a job. Okay, so these things, the first 4 sessions, what we are going to discuss, this will help you to clarify you what would be your role, how you would be performing, what you would be performing, when you get into SuccessFactors. You can interrupt me, you can stop me wherever you have doubts. Okay, or you don't have to wait till end of the session. Anywhere you feel that you need more information, you can just stop me. Okay, so the first day we'll be talking about the roles and responsibilities of a SuccessFactors consultant. Now, all of us, once after getting trained, will be looking out for jobs, right? And once you get into SuccessFactors a consultant role, what would be your responsibilities? Now, we don't have many responsibilities in SuccessFactors. We only have one role called SF consultant. Now we can give a different names to it, like a junior consultant or associate consultant or a senior consultant or consultant. The responsibility remains same, and we only have one role. Like in SAP, we have many roles. SAP, we have many roles, like a technical consultant who actually does the development, functional consultant who would be gathering the requirements and configuring the system, ESS, MSS consultant who would be configuring only employee self-service, workflow consultant who would only be doing the workflows. So we have these different roles in SAP, but in SuccessFactors, we don't have these many roles. Raghupati, can you go on mute, please? So if you have anything to ask, you can unmute and ask. I hear a lot
I know, may I?
background sound.
I want to ask you, like, we will get these recordings?
Yes, every day's recording you'll be, you'll be getting on the same day.
Okay, okay.
You'll be getting the material, you'll be getting the recordings of every day. But again, we'll be sharing you the recordings, but I would recommend not to rely on recordings. Okay. So you try to remember what has been taught in the class. Okay. it is okay if you spend some more time, extra time on the system. Now, when you actually do the practice, don't just play your recording, no, and do those things and then stop recording and do those things in the system, and then again resume that recording and then do the activities. No, that way you won't learn. You try to remember what has been taught. Okay, maybe it might take two or three more clicks when you do it in the system. That will help you, that will improve your knowledge.
Sure.
Okay, wherever you feel that you needed that extra information, or no, you wanted to see in detail, you can go through the recording. Recordings are for your reference, but try to avoid as much as you can. Okay, that way you will learn a lot. Okay. Yeah, well, coming to the roles of a professional service consultant. So all of us would be getting into the SuccessFactors role as a consultant. Now, since this is a functional module, we don't have anything technical. We will not be doing any kind of coding. We will not be developing the product. The SuccessFactors application is already developed. This is developed by SAP, and we will only be configuring into the customers. What do you mean by that? Now, I'll take a simple example. Now, when you buy a new phone, everything is there in the system. You just have to configure as per your need, right? When you start, what you'll do, you'll have to give, let's say, now you have bought a new iPhone. Okay, what do? First, you register that email ID, either with the email ID or even if it is an Android. What you will do, you copy all of your contents either from the previous phone, or what you do, if it is a new phone and new account, you create an account with either that particular iPhone or the Samsung. You would be adding your account, and then slowly it will ask you what languages you want to have. Now, what is the base language you want to have? English, Hindi, Telugu. So you get all of these languages. So you'll be choosing one language, and then you will have to set up all of those things. What all you want to use on your home page, what settings you want to enable, what are the camera features we have, and what do you want to enable it. So all the mobiles have given you those things by default in the system. But what do you want to use? How do you want to use? It is up to you. The same thing, SuccessFactors application is ready to use product. Customers enroll for this product, and then you'll have to configure. Now that configuration part, we would be doing it. Now because this is not that simple like setting up a mobile. It takes some time to configure the system. So we need to understand, as a consultant, we need to understand the requirement from the customer. Okay, different customers follow different processes. Okay, right? Like let's say hiring of an employee. Most of the companies, what they do, on the day of hiring, they capture all of the information, or they take all of the information from the candidate. Okay, maybe the previous experiences, education details. Soft copies, they will verify the the hard copies, and then if they have them scanned, we'll be taking the soft copies, right? So we'll be placing them in employee folder. Whatever information is required, maybe the address proof, maybe the education details, or maybe the previous experiences, or maybe the medical details. So all of this will be capturing into the system. And then we generate the ID. We'll be giving the employee the ID card, where you'll have some information, the name of the employee, the ID of the employee, and so on. And then employee starts the work. Now, all of this information is available in SuccessFactors, and we'll be just keying in those details. We'll key in those details. What is the name of the employee? First name, last name, middle name, salutation of this employee, gender of this employee. Okay, so all of these details will be adding into the system. Now, different customers may ask for different fields while hiring the employee. So these things would be configuring as a consultant. These would be our responsibilities. So we would be the functional consultants who would be closely working with customers in understanding their requirements and configuring the system as per their need. That's our job. And then next topic would be the system landscape. So how many systems we have? Okay, what is the architecture of SuccessFactors system? So if customer asks you to configure something, will you be doing directly in one of the system where all the end users will log in and see? No, we don't do that way. There are different systems which we use. Okay, so what are those systems? So how do we connect those systems? We see that. That's your types of system and system landscape. So we have basically two types of system, provisioning and instance. Every customer will see these two, provisioning and instance. Now, first system is always the provisioning system. And provisioning system access is only given to certified consultants. Does that mean that we have to do certification? Yes, that's what we see in the second day. Why certification is required? What happens if you don't have certification? If you don't have certification, you will not be able to do the configuration of provisioning. And if you don't do the configuration of provisioning, if you don't do the configuration of provisioning system, you will not be able to do the configuration in instance, because all of the configurations that we have to do in instance comes from provisioning. It is a very little, like only the 5% of the entire configuration is done in the provisioning. We enable the services that are required for customer in provisioning. Once you enable these services in provisioning, all the configurations will be available in instance. So that 5% of configuration or enablement of services are required to be done in the provisioning system. Okay, so I'll show you what we do in provisioning. Now, all of you will be given access to instance, but not provisioning system. Because there are certain prerequisites to have the provisioning account. The first and foremost would be your certification. Okay, in real time, when you attend interviews, in your interviews, they'll ask you whether you had the provisioning access or not. So you should be saying, yes, we had provisioning access. We have done these settings. So I'll give you all of those steps. I'll show you all of those steps, what we do in the provisioning system. Okay, so only one session where we do all the entire provisioning settings. I'll explain you what is each of those switch used and what do we do in the provisioning system. So we have two systems, provisioning and instance. 95% of the rest of the configuration will be doing in instance, and everybody will be getting the access to instance, which can be used 24/7. Okay, you can use that from anywhere. If you have internet, you can connect the application and configure. Okay, this would be till end of the course. Again, if you want the instance access to be extended, we'll do that on need basis. Okay, so the first day would be talking about the responsibilities, roles and responsibilities of a SuccessFactors consultant. This will be discussed in detail. Okay, what would be our role and what would be our responsibility. And then the system landscape and types of system. Second day, we'll start with the release management, or we'll start with certification and then go to release management. Certification is mandatory for every aspirant who want to get into SuccessFactors. Okay, and before joining any organization, you need to have your certification in place, because the first thing that is asked in your interviews is whether you are certified or not. Okay, now once you are certified, you say, yes, I'm certified in these modules, then they will proceed with the next process. If you say you're not certified, they may not schedule the technical round of interview. Okay, now whatever it is, but you should have your certification before joining the organization. So I'll show you where to do the certification, how do we do the certification, how many hours, or how many number of questions that we have. Okay, so all of that I'll explain you in detail. Certification. And then we have a release management. Like any other product, SuccessFactors also upgrades the product. And this is done once in 6 months or twice a year. We have some fixed timelines. Like usually the first half is done in the April and May. And then the second half, which is done in October or November. October, November, April, May, and October, November. So what does this release contains? Release contains many features which should be added into the product. Enhancements which are done on the product. Now, in the back end, SAP would be developing new things, fixing the bugs which are identified by either by clients or by SAP. They would be enhancing the existing product by adding some more functionalities into the system. And as a consultant, we should know what are the new features that are coming in, because few things which were not available earlier are now available. Maybe customer was looking out for some features and they are available now in the system. Okay, so we have different features in the release management, like admin opt-ins, universal, and then provisioning opt-ins. Okay, so with these things we'll be discussing in day 2. Once we do the certification can be kept active by logging into Learning Hub. Again, the Learning Hub access is generally given by your implementation partner. Implementation partner meaning your employer. They would be giving you Learning Hub access when you join them, where you can go and find the information about SuccessFactors. You can find information about your certifications, about new features and all. You'll have to take some tests. Every release, you need to take some tests, which will update your certificate here. So that's Learning Hub. Day 3, we'll be talking about the Partner Edge. Within Partner Edge, we have different documents which we'll be downloading. Okay, so one of it is implementation guide. Implementation guide explains you each and everything in detail, like what are the configurations. If you are new to implementation, what are the sequence of steps that you have to follow to implement SuccessFactors Employee Central for your customer. Step 1, you'll have to log into provisioning, do these settings. Step 2, within provisioning, you'll have to do these things. Step 3. So you have around 16 to 17 steps which you need to follow to implement or configure the system. And they'll explain you, or they'll give you each and every step, how to navigate, where to navigate, and what are the configurations we have to do. Now, what is each of those fields about? The configuration workbook explains you all of this in detail. And this is very important document, the configuration document, and it is available in the drive. All of you will be given access to this drive where you can download this material and keep them handy. Now, out of all the documents, we have, I think, hundreds of documents in it, but I would prefer you people download this configuration workbook, which is very important. This is the only workbook that I recommend you to download and keep it handy. If possible, try to print it out. It is around like 300 plus odd pages, or 350 or 340 pages. You can download this, get it printed, keep it handy. If you have a hard copy of it, you will, you will always go refer and see. If it is soft copy, you might not open every day in your system. Even if you're traveling or if you're doing something, you can always carry that book and try to refer that book. Very, very important. All of your certification questions comes from this configuration workbook. If you are thorough with this workbook, you can pass your certification in the first attempt. Okay. Then comes your configuration workbooks. These are the requirement documents which are downloaded from one of the portals of SuccessFactors and share it with the customer. Customer would be adding their requirements in these workbooks and they will share it back. We will use these workbooks as a reference and do the configuration in the system. I'll take a pause and see if you have any questions. No, there might be some terms or terminologies which you have not heard earlier or which are you're hearing for the first time. So you can ask me if you need more information on it. Any questions so far?
How hard is the certification examination?
Certification is, see, if you are thorough with the topics that have been discussed and thorough with the configuration guide, it is not tough. Now, it is tricky. Now, every answer that you see, all of the questions that you get in certification are multiple choice, and you'll just have to answer the correct one. You have to choose the correct answer in it. Okay, every answer seems to be correct, but no, you need to think wisely and answer it. That's it. I will not say it is tough. We have 3 years of time. If I write, even if I write today, I have done my certification long back, maybe 7, 8 years back. Okay, but even if I'm given if I have to write the certification, I'll finish it off in 20 or 30 minutes. Because you're doing it for the first time, it might take 1.5 or 2 hours, but yeah. It is not tough, it is just tricky. That's it. Okay. I'll show you some sample questions. Don't worry about certification. All of you, if anybody who want to do certification, you'll pass in your first attempt. Okay.
Venu, I have a question.
Hmm.
So you said that whenever you join a company, every 6 months you have to give a test in Learning Hub and upgrade your certification and things.
Hmm.
Also, when you join a company, then only they will give you the credentials. So suppose you have joined a company and because of some reasons you are not there and you're again looking for a job and you're not logging into Learning Hub. So do the certification gets cancelled if you do not update every 6 months, or what is?
No, your certification is valid now. For the rules have been changed. It is valid for 1 year.
Okay, and after that you have to give it again, right?
Yes. Yes. If you are not doing that Learning Hub thing, you will have to redo your certification after 1 year.
Understood. And this Learning Hub is only provided by the employer only, or suppose if you're
Usually
not
given by your employer, but again, you can also take it on your own, but it is a bit expensive.
Okay, understood.
2.5 to 3 lakhs.
Oh,
Hello,
It's
sir.
not that necessary to take the Learning Hub. Instead, you can always go with Certification Hub.
sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello. As you said, SAP will upgrade twice in a year. So, how we will do we need to do something in our company if we are the functional
Yes.
consultant?
Yes. As a consultant, there are few things which you should know. Okay.
Okay.
And there are few things which you will have to do in the system. So there are different features. Like whenever something gets updated in your mobile also,
Yes.
some things comes by default. You go to that particular place, you will see, let's say in the WhatsApp, they have added a new functionality called payments. Okay, you can pay anybody from your contacts. But to use that functionality, you may have to configure, you may have to add your bank account to it, right? The
Yes.
functionality is available in the system, but you have to configure it. You have to set up that. Few things would be available by default. You go, there is a change in the icon. So that icon you will see after the upgrade. You don't have to do anything for that.
Okay.
Okay. So similarly, here also in SuccessFactors, there are some features which comes by default, which you see for all customers. And there are some things which you have to do some configuration to see that change in the system.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you.
Which may or may not be required for a customer. Your customer says, I want to use it, you go configure it. Your customer says, I don't want to use it, then you can leave it. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. And would you please come again with the configuration workbook? What exactly includes in that configuration workbook?
Configuration workbook is like a manual. Generally, any product that you buy, you get some manual, user manual. So what does it explain? It explains you how to use, what to use,
Okay.
right? So
Yeah.
what are available and how to use it. That same thing, the configuration workbooks contains all of the configuration notes.
Okay.
Now, if you have to create a company or if you have to create a location, so where should you go? They'll give you the navigation. You need to navigate to admin center, search for so-and-so, search for so-and-so, and then click on the employee files, click on employee, and then go to this thing. So it gives you that navigation.
Sure.
And when you go there, what fields you have in that screen to be filled? What fields are mandatory? Why each of those fields are required? So they will explain those details.
Okay. Thank you.
Now, user manuals are generally for the end users. Now, we will be preparing the user manuals kind of thing, like how the end user has to use, like how to hire an employee. If they have to change the location, how do they change the location? But in the back end, to show up those locations in the drop down, we have to create that location. So how do we create the location? SuccessFactors gives us that manual.
Okay. Okay.
What actions we have to perform to create a location or to create a logic or to create a company.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other doubts? No question is a silly question. You can ask any kind of question, right? All of us are new to SuccessFactors. So anything that you want to know, just feel free to ask. Even if it is no, if I have to explain it number of times, I'll do that for you. Okay, the day 4, like day 4 would be the last day of the theory. So day 4, we'll be talking about within, again, a partner edge, along with the configuration workbooks and the implementation guide. We have something called kickoff template, which would be downloaded from the portal again. Now, this is to initially explain the customer about SuccessFactors. Now, customer doesn't know anything about SuccessFactors. Once implemented, how do they start using or accessing the system, what each of the employee would be doing in the system. So that is explained in kickoff template. Like once you log into SuccessFactors, what you would be doing? You'd be hiring. So how do we hire employees? How the data flows from the hiring screen to some other screen? How do you transfer? What are workflows? What are business tools? What are RBP? So all of this is explained in detail. We need to educate the customer because the customer is going to use the system, right? So different roles when they log in, let's say I'm an employee in the organization. Okay, I've joined, let's say Samsung. Samsung is my company. I've joined Samsung as maybe into finance department or into sales department or into HR department or into any of the engineering department. But I'm the end user. Samsung is using SuccessFactors as the HR application and for their employees. Now, as an employee, when I log in, I will have access to update all my information. My personal information, maybe few things which I have to update, like my surname is not updated, I'll go and update my surname. My dependent information is not updated, I'll go add all my dependents because this is required for my insurance. So I'll go and update my dependent information. Education details, HR has updated only 2 of them, maybe my, the recent postgraduate and graduate. So I want to add other details also. I can go and fill that. I can add my address details. I can add my previous experiences. I can add my medical details, add my contact information. All of those details, whatever is pending, I'll go and update. I'll have access to that. I have my compensation details also, but I can only see them. My salary details, if it says 1 lakh is my salary, I can go and see my salary structure. My basic is this, HRA is this percentage, medical is now this amount. I can see all my pay structure, all my pay components. But I will not have access to edit it. I cannot go and change my salary. That's not in my hands. I can only see. To some extent, I can go and view my colleagues, or I can go and view my peers or or the other employee details also, like simple details like name of that employee, email ID, or whom they are reporting to. So I can see all of these details. No, I will have only view access. I cannot go and update others' address information or others' education details. I can only see. When it comes to my data, I can update, but when it comes to others' information, I can only view. Others can edit their information. I can only view to some extent. I will not see the salary details of others. I can see my salary, my own salary details, but not others. But that's confidential. So different people logging into the system will have different permissions. Okay, so what all they see, how do we restrict this? This would be doing it in RBP. So these things are explained in kickoff template. Okay, again, this is a PowerPoint presentation which you would be giving it to the customer. Now, you need to explain all of these things before you start the configuration. Customer doesn't know anything about SuccessFactors. You explain them what is available, and they will give, based on this template presentation, they'll give their requirements. Like we want to use this functionality, we want to use these fields, we want to have these workflows configured, or we want to have this RBP set up in the system. So after this explaining the template to customer will start giving that requirement. In the same template, we have the methodology. Now, every company follows a different methodology while implementing the product to the customer. SuccessFactors also got, SAP recommends us to follow the methodology called Activate methodology. Earlier, we were using a methodology called BizX. Now they have changed a few terms and few process in Activate methodology. SAP recommends this, but again, it's up to the employer or the customer who want to follow, if they want to follow a different process, we can do that. And then all of these things, whatever that we have discussed so far, we use them in different portals. Like we have help.sap, we have Launchpad, we have Partner Edge, we have training.sap for your certification. Okay, so we'll be looking at all of these web URLs from where you download some content, from where you do the certification, where you log in a ticket with SAP. So all of these things we'll see in day 4. With this, we'll be completing the theoretical part. Day 4. At day 5, we'll start with the implementation sequence. Now we refer to the implementation guide. Like there's a configuration guide, what we talked about, right? So we open the implementation guide and see what are the steps that SAP is recommending us to do in the system, the implementation sequence. So we go through first few steps, at least we follow that, and from there onwards, we'll take a different route. Okay, we'll go through the implementation sequence. We'll start with the provisioning settings. There are a number of settings that you need to enable it in the provisioning. So day 5 and day 6, we talk about the provisioning setup. Day 6, we'll be talking about, again, these are in the provisioning only. There's something called data models. The first topic, first practical part, what we see is the data models. Data models are very important. Every interview that you face, you will get to see some questions on this data models concept. In your interviews, in your certification also, you get around 10 questions, 8 to 10 questions from these areas on the data models. We'll talk about data models in detail. What are those? Where are they used? How to access them, that we see. And then day 7, one of these data model will go in detail. We'll see how to modify it. Now, data models are in XML language. You might think that, no, I said it is a functional module, but XML is a technical one. Now you don't have to do any kind of coding here. You just have to understand what is there in the system, what is there in the data model. SuccessFactors gives us all of these standard data models. If required, if you have to modify, you will go and make some changes. You will tweak the XML file. Okay, so that we'll see how to make those changes. Now we'll see it here on 7th session. And then we move to day 8. Day 8 will be doing some configuration in the instance. We'll set up the system, or we'll set up the objects. Like first thing that we set up in the system would be the organization structure. You need to understand your customer structure, how they operate from, how many companies they have, how many locations they operate from, how many departments they have, how many business units or divisions or functions or org units they have. So we need to gather all of this and configure it in the system. Let's say they have 3 companies. They are into manufacturing, they are into infra, they are into IT. So 3 different companies. So add those 3 companies. Each company has got some business areas. Add those business areas. So all of them are using some departments: HR, finance, sales, engineering, production, and so on. So add all of them. Now you'll be setting up the objects, and these objects are called foundation objects or MDF objects. We'll discuss in detail what are foundation, MDF, what objects are those. Once we set up this in 8th, 9th, and 10, okay, we'll go and see. Now, all of these are the objects only: 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And in 12 or 13, day 13, we'll go and see how to add the employees into the system by using the objects that we have configured. Now, if you have to hire employee, you'll have to fill certain details, like what company this employee belongs to, right? So that company should be available in the drop-down. What location this employee would be working in. So we need that location. Let's say if your customer is operating from 100 different locations, we need to add all of those locations in the system so that those are available to choose for an employee. So we see how to add employee. Now, adding employee is not our part. It would be generally done by business users, but you should explain them, you should train them, you should train your HRs how to add employee, what information is required while hiring the employee, whether if we can customize the template, hiring template. So what all information is now mandatory, what can be made optional. So we'll be doing that. Now, once we add employees, now till here, we see how to hire employee manually, how to add company, how to add location, how to add department, all of these things manually. There are certain fields which you have to fill to create one location or to create one company or to create one department. SuccessFactors gives you all of these things, but SuccessFactors allows you to make the customizations. Within personal information, your customer want to add more fields, yes, we can add. There are certain fields which are mandatory, but they want to make it non-mandatory or optional, we can do that. There are certain fields which are optional, but your customer want to have mandatory, yes, we can do that. So when you do all of this manually, you'll come to know what fields we have in each object or what fields you have to fill in hiring template. Now, in the 14th session, we'll be looking at 14th and 15th, we'll be looking at uploading of the data, bulk data. What if your customer has 100 locations? We cannot go and create each of those locations manually. We'll see how to maintain the bulk data. If you have 1,000 employees to be hired, initially we have to upload all of the data and share with them. They have 10,000 employees. All the 10,000 employee data, we have to maintain it in the system. From there on, any new hire they'll be adding it manually. But even sometimes if they have done bulk hiring, so those bulk hiring is to be uploaded. There are some 100 transfers to happen in the system or 1,000 promotions to happen in the system. So we should upload the data. So SuccessFactors allows us to upload any data. You see how to import this data. Again, this Uploads are simple. We'll have to maintain the data. SuccessFactors gives us the templates. I want to do transfers, have a template. Download that template, fill the data into Excel, upload by. Okay, we'll see the upload. But once we have some data, by now, by 15th session, we'll have some bulk employees that are uploaded, some users who are added manually. We have all of our objects ready. Then we go and see the RBP part. RBP is nothing but role-based permission, the security part. How do we restrict the data? Not every employee can access others' details. Not every employee can go and hire employee. Not every employee can go and transfer or terminate an employee. So we have to configure different roles with different permissions. So if I am a HR manager, when I log in, I may see some additional screens. Not every employee will see that screen, but I see because I am a HR. If you are a consultant, then you will see more screens. Because you have to do the configuration as well. Configuration access is not given to end user. Employees will not go and configure the system. They cannot create a location. They cannot create RBP. They cannot maintain the security. We, the consultants, would be configuring the system, right? So we'll have all the permissions. We'll see how to set up RBP. Topic-wise, it is a simple topic, but because of the sensitivity, it is very important. Again, RBP also, you get some questions in your interviews and even in your certification. Okay. And day 17, we talk about the approvals. How to configure the approvals in system, workflows. We call these approvals as workflows. Let's say you want to have a 2 level of approval for transfer, 3 levels of approval for promotion, or 4 levels of approvals for termination. So how do we set up? Who would be the first approver? How will approver know that they have some action which they have to do in the system? So system sends the notification. Every time somebody requests somebody raises a request, system sends out the notification, the email, saying that there's a request which you need to go and approve. Okay. So how do we set up these notifications? How to set up these workflows, that we see in day 17. And day 18, we'll be discussing now here in the 18, 19, 20, we discuss about the business rules. Very, very important concept. Every interview, you'll get some questions. What business rules have you configured? How do we configure this business rule and so on? Now, business rules are ways to implement logic in the system. Apart from the standard configuration what SuccessFactors have provided, it has given us option of setting up some logic. Like if I have to calculate something, I want system to auto calculate something and update in one field. I have added basic HRA, medical and special elements. I want CTC to be updated. So system will update that. But how does system know to update or to add these things or to multiply or to divide or to subtract? Because we have to define that, because we have defined that logic somewhere. If I want system to validate some data and give some error messages or warning messages, if user is doing something wrong in the system. Let's say we have gender male and salutation as miss. By mistake, say user has selected a wrong value. So system prompts saying that no, this is not correct, you need to correct this value. So system validates the data. Okay, so these logics we would be doing in the business rules. Okay, so there are different scenarios of the rules, validation rules, auto calculation rules, defaulting the field values, workflows, we use the business rules. So we'll talk more about the workflows here, business rules here in 18, 19, 20, and 21. I'll take a pause and see if you have any questions so far. No doubts? Okay. So once we are done with the workflows part, we'll be looking at the customizations. Okay. So SuccessFactors gives us all standard fields. Like within personal information, you'll see first name, last name, middle name, gender, date of birth, salutation, etc. Job information, you see company, business unit, division, department, grade of the employee, work schedule, holiday calendar. So you see these fields. But what if your customer want to customize it, add more fields into it, or change the properties of the existing fields? Okay, or adding a new screen itself. So we can do that. So how do we add these screens? How do we add these fields? How do we customize it? That we see it in day 22. And day 23, we talk about the organization chart or the position or chart advanced position management. Whenever you hire an employee, it is mandatory to have a vacant position, right? Now, if you go and look at the position org chart, you will see the number of positions that are available in the organization and how many of them are filled and what are the vacant positions. And we'll use those vacant positions for hiring the employees. Without a position, without a vacant position, you cannot go and hire because position is mandatory for hiring employee. Okay, so how do we set up these positions? Okay, what happens when you add employee to the position, or what happens when you remove the position? How does system know that this position is vacant or this position is occupied, or where is this position in? Who, to whom the position is reporting to? What happens when you terminate a manager? Every employee in the organization should be reporting to some manager. Without the relationship of that manager employee, you cannot hire an employee. While hiring itself, you need to add the manager for that employee. And if you look at the organization chart, system shows up who is reporting to whom and who is at the top most level. Right? So when a manager is terminated, let's say I am a manager, I have 4 employees reporting to me. Tomorrow, if I'm leaving the organization, somebody has to take my position. Right? All of those 4 direct reports, once I am terminated, those 4 employees has to report to some other manager, either the existing employee in the organization, or maybe after a few days, a new manager will be joined. But till then, we need to have that relationship maintained. So those 4 employees are to be transferred to a new manager. And what are the ways of transferring those? Where do you want to? Oh, either they should be reporting to directly to my manager whom I was reporting to, or maybe at my level, if there is someone who is available and all of them can be reporting to that manager, or somebody would be promoted from the existing team. So all of these things would be doing it in the position management and position org chart. And this would be split like 24, 25. We have some topics on how to set up the theme. Like every customer want to see the instance or system in their own theme, right? So we'll see how to set up these themes. Colors can be changed, background images can be changed, logo can be changed, text color can be changed, table design can be changed. I want to have alternate color, light blue and white, no, in the rows. Yes, we can do that. I want to have a different color text, or I want to have a different background on the each page. We can do all of these things on the themes. When anybody log into SuccessFactors application, they land up on the home page. Now this home page can be customized. What to see on the home page? Okay, what colors or what background images or what logos or what text you want to display, what actions you want to display. All of these things can be customized using Theme Manager and the home page settings. And we will also see on the reporting part, after doing all of these things, it is very important to extract the information from system. Now, if somebody asks you to generate a report and show me the attrition percentage, or show me the number of employees that we have hired in last 3 months or last 6 months, or in the previous month. Now, what is the headcount that we have currently? How many employees are transferred? How many employees are promoted? How many employees are suspended? So if I want to know this, I can go create a report and extract all of these reports. SuccessFactors allows you to create different kinds of reports and extract them into different templates or different formats. It can be into CSV, comma separated values, or Excels, or PowerPoint presentation, or PDFs. It allows us to download the content into different templates. So we'll see how to create different reports. We can also see audit report if somebody has deleted some record in the system. Maybe they have added, somebody has added and somebody has deleted it. Now I want to know who has added, when was it added, and who has deleted and when was it deleted. We can pull out an audit report. What actions have been performed? Maybe we see some data. Okay. On the screen, we see 50,000 as the salary of the employee, but it was initially 20 or 30,000, but somebody has changed it to 50. So what was the previous salary that we had earlier, and what is changed? Okay, who has changed and when was this changed? So we can have the audit log as well. All of these things we'd be looking in the reports. Now it says 24 sessions. Sometimes it gets extended to 25, 26, depending on your practice. If somewhere you feel that I want to have one more session on the business rules, or I want to have one more session on the workflows, or one more session on the RBP part, or initially when you start working on the system, okay, we do a number of things now. Now we configure a lot of foundation objects. Now, if it is getting delayed and you want to do a practice session, and one of the session you want to practice, we can do that. Yes. Questions?
All good, yeah, all good, right?
All good?
Yes.
The course content is clear.
Course content is clear. So I'll be sharing all of this information is available in the drive. Once you have confirmed, you will be getting access to the drive where you can download the course content or the material and start going through this material. Now, as and when we discuss, there are a lot of documents available in the drive. They'll tell you what is to be referred. The implementation guide is one thing which is compulsory for everybody. The rest of the documents, if you want, you can refer. Like you have, when we discuss workflows, we have a document specific to workflows. You can go through that. We have a PowerPoint, we have a PDF document which is given by SAP. So all of this material, these are by SAP. Okay, so you can download, keep them handy. Okay.
So, we know one more thing, whether you will be conducting any mock interviews.
That depends. Now, you want to have a mock interview, we do that.
Okay.
Because after going through all of these 24, 25 sessions, you need to practice again. You might take some more time to practice, and once you are ready for taking up the interviews, yes, if you want us to conduct a mock interview, we do that. We'll help you, preparing your resume, preparing for your certification. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll stop it here and we'll connect tomorrow.
Sure, Vinay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you all. Yeah, hi. Good morning, all.
Good morning.
Very good morning. Let me share my screen. We'll start with this session. Okay, so the first topic for today would be the roles and responsibilities of a SuccessFactors consultant. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, Venu.
Roles and responsibilities of a SuccessFactors consultant. First, before going into roles and responsibilities, let's check some of the terms or the terminologies that we use. Okay, so here we have implementation partner. We have customer and consultant. Now, who is an implementation partner? Anybody knows who is an implementation partner?
The company we are currently employed.
Company we are currently employed. Okay. Now, not necessarily all the companies that we are hired are implementation partners. Implementation partners are those employees who are authorized to implement SuccessFactors for the customers. Okay. Now, if somebody has to implement SuccessFactors, let's say I'm an individual, I cannot go and implement SuccessFactors for any customer. First thing would be the prerequisite should be I should be associated with SAP or SuccessFactors. Only when I have license to implement SuccessFactors, I'll be called as implementation partner. Example, okay. Now, if I want to have a McDonald's burger or a Domino's pizza or a KFC burger, where should I go? Can I get this in my nearby supermarkets or nearby any retail shops? Can I get these products?
No.
No. Why? Because they are only sold at the authorized centers. Yes or no? So somebody should have taken a franchisee. I need to go to that nearest franchisee and buy that product. I will not get McDonald's in KFC or I will not get KFC in somewhere else. Okay, because they have taken a franchisee and selling the products, should reach out to them to get that product. The same thing, SuccessFactors also is a SAP product, and if somebody has to implement that to the customer, firstly they should go take the license. They should partner with SuccessFactors. Now, SAP, there are thousands of customers across the globe. There are thousands of customers across the globe. And all of these customers, SuccessFactors alone cannot implement for them or support them. So that's why they have given the license to implement SuccessFactors for various organizations like IBM, Deloitte, Capgemini, Accenture, Cognizant. So these are some of the big names, but there are many small and medium companies as well who implement SuccessFactors for the customers. They're called implementation partners. Second is a customer. Customer is a end user. End user is going to use SuccessFactors application for their organizations. They're called the customers or the clients. Call them customers or clients. Then the consultants. Someone who implements SuccessFactors to customers are called consultants. All of us. Okay. maybe certified or non-certified. All of them are called consultants. And these consultants are hired by implementation partner. And implementation partner will be assigning the projects to consultants. And consultant would be working on the projects. Can these consultants be hired by customer?
No.
They can hire. Consultants can be hired by customer, but they cannot implement SuccessFactors for customer. They becomes the end user. Okay. Now, the roles and responsibilities of a SuccessFactors consultant. Now, in other technologies or in SAP, we have different roles. Like a functional consultant who would be getting the requirements from customer and configuring the system as per customer needs. Technical consultant who would be developing, would be doing the coding or customizing the product. Basis consultant who sets up the system. ESS or MSS consultant who set up the employee self-service portals for the customer. Workflow consultants who configures the approvals. So these are the different roles we have in SAP. But in SuccessFactors, we don't have these many roles. We only have one role called a consultant or a functional consultant who would be looking after all of these activities, setting up the system, customizing the system, configuring the system, ESS, MSS part, security part, all of this is taken care by the consultant. Now, different companies, different implementation partner gives different names. Associate consultant, junior consultant, senior consultant, consultant, lead consultant. Okay, all of them would be doing the same thing. So, what would be our responsibilities? Now, our responsibilities include the implementation. There are two types of projects. There are two types of projects. And one good thing in SuccessFactors is every customer who's using SuccessFactors should have a support consultant for them. Okay, the two types of projects, implementation and support. In implementation, customer doesn't have any SuccessFactors application with them. So we need to understand the requirement of the customer, configure that in the system and hand it over to customer. That's implementation. You understand the requirement, what they want to use in SuccessFactors, what fields they want to use, how do they want to hire, how do they want to transfer, how do they want to promote, terminate, how do they want to view the compensation statements, what kind of leaves they want to have, what kind of, what is the holiday calendar that they want to have, what is their company structure, what is their pay structure. So all of this is configured in the system. Okay, that's called the implementation. Once implemented, once SuccessFactors application is implemented for a customer, should always need some team to support them. The support can be in different ways. One of it is incident management. You call it incident management. Now, after implementation, if they have any doubts, clarifications, issues, somebody should be assisting them. And support consultant would be assisting them in fixing all of those issues, identifying the gaps, okay, analyzing the issues, fixing them. There could be some knowledge gaps. So all of this would be done through incident management. Customer creates a ticket. Now these tickets can be in any form or any application. There are many ticketing tools available in the market. Customer can use any of them to raise a request or to raise an issue. Consultants have to look after the ticket, fix that issue in the system. That's called incident management. Second is change management. After incident, next is change. Maybe when SuccessFactors was implemented, they've gone with some processes. After using the system for a couple of months or years, they want to have some change in the system. Initially, the transfer was configured with 4 levels of approval. Now they want to have only 3 levels of approval. They want to remove one step. Promotion had 4 levels of approval. Now they want to include one more level of approval, 5th level of approval. They were not using global assignment. Now they want to use global assignment. They're not using time off. Now they want to use time off. Earlier, they were using only 4 types of leaves. Now they want to have 6 types of leaves. So these are the changes in the system, not the issues. These are the changes. They have a change in the process, and that process is to be implemented. This is similar to your implementation only. Customer gives the requirement. Consultant has to give the estimate, analyze and see how many hours or how many days required to configure and deliver the change. Then customer agrees to it. We configure, test and deliver that. That's the change management. And then we have release management. Incident, change and release management. And release management will look after the upgrades. SuccessFactors upgrades the product every 6 months. Once in 6 months, you will see the new changes in the system, new enhancements or improvements in the system. So we need to analyze, see what are applicable for the customer, and we need to educate the customer that these are the changes which have come in this release. These are the issues which are fixed. These are the new features that are available in the product. We need to educate the customer. That is done in the release management. So these are the 2 types of projects that we have: implementation and support. Implementation, we configure the system, and in the support, we support the system through incident, change and release management. Any doubts so far?
No, Venu.
All clear?
Yeah. Hey, Vinu, can you explain this incident again?
Incidents, very good.
Yeah.
Incident or a ticketing management. Okay. Let's say I'm the end user. Okay. I'm an end user working for some company. Let's say I'm working for Reliance Industries, and we have SuccessFactors for all the employees. Now, when I log in, okay, I'm trying to update my address details. So I've updated my address. I'm saving the record. System is giving me some error message. It says some error message, and I'm unable to save that record. So what will I do? As an end user, I don't know how to fix it. Okay. So I'll reach out to the support consultant saying that, hey, see, I'm trying to update my address details in the system and it is giving the error. Or let's say I'm a HR, I'm hiring an employee, I've added all the information and I click submit, system is giving me some error. Maybe that error message, no, I cannot fix it, or maybe I don't know, I don't understand the error message, what to be fixed. So I'll reach out to the support consultant. So how do I reach out? There are different ways. If the customer is using a ticketing tool where they raise a ticket, then that ticket would be assigned to the support consultant. Let's say I'm in US, somebody from India is supporting us. So how do I communicate? Either I need to communicate with them, email, or through some application or some tool. So we have different ticketing tools which are available like Jira, Ask HR, or ServiceNow. There are some ticketing tools where I go create a ticket, and that ticket would be assigned to the consultant, available consultant. Same thing. Now, let's say in our households, let's say we are using a Samsung TV or LG microwave oven. We got an issue with microwave oven, or we have an issue with Samsung TV. What will we do? We call the customer care. You call the customer care, and what does customer care does? Customer care take the inputs and creates a ticket. And that ticket would be assigned to service engineer. Service engineer will call up, says that, no, I'm assigned with this ticket. Okay, and what is your problem? So when we explain the problem, they might resolve it on the go, or they may visit, see, look at the issue, analyze, and fix it. Now the same thing we do it in SuccessFactors as well. End user creates a ticket or an incident. Now this incident can be the analysis part. Now they want to know some information. They have created a ticket. So we have to do that analysis. Or they are facing some issue in the system, in the application. Then we have to replicate that issue, analyze that issue, and fix that issue. Okay, so that's called the incident management. Complaints are resolved here in incident management. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes, Venu.
Next topic is types of systems. There are two types of systems here in SuccessFactors. First one is called the provisioning. First one is called provisioning, and second is called instance. So when we start our implementation, we always do the implementation in provisioning system. We start the implementation in provisioning system and then an instance. Provisioning can only be logged in by certified consultants. Only certified consultants can log into provisioning system. Any user can log into instance. When the end user, consultants, admins, anybody can log into instance. But to log into provisioning, we need to have certification. And only consultants will have the certification. So they can log into provisioning. And once we log into provisioning, we enable the services that are required for customer. Each module has got many functionalities, many features. And if customer want to use that particular functionality, we need to enable that first in provisioning system. I'll give you an example. We have a functionality called global assignment. Global assignment is one of the functionality in Employee Central. Who requires global assignment is if a customer operates from different countries. I'm working for Samsung Industries, and Samsung Industries, they have their operations in different countries. They operate from India, they operate from China, Japan, they operate from Korea, they operate from US, UK, and so on. 10 different countries. Okay. And if an employee is to travel to a different country and work for a short or a long-term assignment. Let's say I'm an employee of Samsung. I am asked to travel to China for next 6 months. I'll be there in China working for the same company, Samsung. I'm asked to work from China for next 6 months. And after 6 months, I will be back to my home assignment. I'll be back to India. Okay, now this 6 months period, what I'm working with company, Samsung in China, that is called the global assignment. That is not a transfer. Transfer meaning you are moved out from one country to other country. I may not return back. That is transfer. If it is a global assignment, employee can be sent to some other country. It's always a different country. Every company, now Samsung Industries will have 2 different companies. Now, if I operate from 10 different countries, then I'll have to create 10 different companies. Samsung India Limited, Samsung China, Samsung Japan, and so on. Company is country specific, because every company has to follow the law of land. I want to have my operations in some country. There, I need to register my company. I need to create a company again there. Okay, so I'd be working for a different country for a short or a long-term assignment. Sometimes it is only for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, or it can be for a year or 2 years. But I would be back to my home country. This is called global assignment. Now, this global assignment is not required for all customers. Only the customers who operate from different countries, they might need global assignment. Okay, now this functionality is to be first enabled in provisioning system. Once this feature is enabled in provisioning system, the configurations are available in instance. What workflows you want to have, what fields you want to change when the employee is sent on a global assignment. Can the global assignment be extended? How soon can we end the global assignment? What assignments you want to have? Short term, long term, mid term. What kind of assignments you want to have? Now, all of these will be adding it in the instance or configuring it in the instance. Who should be doing it? Do you want to have any workflow while sending the employee on a global assignment? So these things are configured in instance, enabled in provisioning and configured in instance. We do only a 5% of configuration. Out of the entire configuration, we do 5% here in provisioning and rest of the 95% in instance. But this 5% is required. If you have not enabled global assignment from provisioning, you don't see that in the instance. You have to first enable that service in provisioning. Then you can configure that in the instance. And all of you will be getting access to instance to practice, not to provisioning. Because you are not a certified consultant. It can be accessed only by certified consultants with their own IDs, with their own certificate. Clear on types of system?
I have a doubt.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So, yesterday you said that we have to get certified in order for us to find a job in SuccessFactor and everything. So, will that certification be sufficient to work or in the provisioning? I mean, do the provisioning configuration and all that?
Yes, the SAP certificate. We'll be
Okay.
talking more about the certification in the coming session.
Yeah. So, is there any particular certification, I mean, in particular module we have to do, or if we do an employee
The
central
respective
module?
module, you know, if you want to work on Employee Central, you should have Employee Central certification. If you want to work on performance management, you need to have certificate in performance management. If you want to work on time off certification, compensation, any module that you want to work, you should have first the certification.
So the provisioning also changes for each module,
No,
is it?
provisioning remains same for all of the modules. Okay, the same login, but it is now required to have a certification in the respective module to implement. And in the bigger organizations like IBM, Capgemini, Cognizant, the Deloitte, Accenture, all of these big companies, they won't allow you to work on any module without having certification. Now, technically speaking, if you have one certification, you can log into provisioning and enable any services. But so why do we require certification in that module is it gives the confidence to the customer that you know you are certified in that module, meaning you know everything about that module, what can be enabled, what can be configured, whether a particular functionality is available in the product or not.
Right. Got it. Thank you very much.
Any other doubts? We're proceeding to next topic. Okay. The next topic is landscape. System landscape or the architecture of system. Can somebody tell me what is a system landscape?
It is the sequence of system implementation to the user.
Yeah, exactly. The sequence of implementation that is done in systems. Okay. When we implement the application to customer, we don't directly do it in a system where the customer is going to use. I mean, SuccessFactors recommends us to follow the sequence: dev, quality, and production system. So when you subscribe for SuccessFactors application, you get these three systems: development, quality, and the production system. Development can only be logged in by consultants. Now here I'm not calling certified consultant. Usually it is certified consultant or any consultant. Even if you don't have certification, you can still log into instance. Okay. Consultants will log into development system, does the configuration. Now customer has given you a requirement. Okay. So you first go log into development system, you configure it and you test it. If it is not working, you have done some configuration, but that configuration is not working in all the scenarios. Some scenarios it is not working. What you do, you go fix it, change the configuration. Okay. A customer asked something in the system, you tried configuring it and system is not allowing you. So you would be testing that in the development system. Once it is working, you have configured and it is working fine. Now you move it to quality system. That configuration, what you have done in development, let's say now for one of the scenario, you have done multiple changes. The change which is working would be moved to quality system. Maybe you have done couple of configurations, but they are not working, and finally something worked. That change to move it to quality system. And in quality system, some of the business users would be logging in. Here, business users would be logging in to the quality system and they will test it. Now, consultants will also log in. If you have to move the configuration, you should log into quality system, move the configuration. Then business users are the users who have given you the requirement, usually from the IT team or from the HR team. They would be testing. They have given us the HR, the hiring process. You have configured all the fields that are required for hiring. Then now this process is to be tested in quality system before it is updated in the production system and for all the made available for all the users. First, the business users have to test and certify. Yes, this is what is the requirement and this is configured in the system and ready for usage. It should give the sign off here. And that is called UAT, user acceptance testing. Now you do the unit testing here in development system. The testing what consultant does is unit testing. Then you move it to quality. Business users test it and they give the sign off. It's called UAT sign off. That's when you move the changes to production. Maybe here customer may say that out of 10 configurations that we have, only 9 of them they've approved. Now, one configuration change they want to revisit. So you will move only those 9 changes to production system. Production is a live system where every end user logs in. Here only the consultants have logged in. And here, along with the consultant, there are some business users who have logged in. Maybe 10, maybe 12 business users or 6 or 7 business users, they would be testing it in the quality. But every end user would be logging into production system. If you have 10,000 users in the organization, all those 10,000 users would be logging into production system to use the application. And will not be doing any kind of testing here in production. If customer raises an incident, create a ticket saying that something is not working in production, you will not go directly to or fix the issue in production system. You should always replicate that in one of the lower instances. These are called lower instances. Production is a main instance where all the end users logs in, and then these are called the lower instances. So you will have to replicate that either in the development and quality, test it. To fix that issue, maybe you have to do some configuration change. So do that change here, move it to quality, ask your customer to test whether the scenario is working fine or not, then move that to production system. Okay. Now this is the common landscape for any customer. So always from dev, you move your configurations to quality, and from quality, you move your configurations to production system. This is the minimum required setup for any customer across the globe. You subscribe for SuccessFactors application, you get these 3 systems. Additionally, customers may require or customers may request for the additional systems, like a pre-production, a test system, a project system, whatever name that they give. Now, some customers uses only 3, dev, quality, and production. Minimum is 3. And then any additional system that they want to have, that can be configured. Again, this is on a chargeable basis. SuccessFactors provides the additional instances on chargeable basis. Some customers you see 4, dev, quality, production, and pre-production. Some customers you will see 5, pre-production and test also. Some customers will have 6. Some customers will have 4, dev, quality, production, and then test system. So what is the use of these systems? Again, this depends upon customer to customer, what they want to use it for. Pre-production is generally a copy of production system. All of the data that we have in production system, you copy it to pre-production. Copy it to pre-production. Anything that if you have an issue in the production system, you replicate that in the pre-production because you have similar data in pre-production. So you replicate that in pre-production. Quality, you must have done a lot of testing. Now in the quality system, well, I've hired some dummy employees. I've done some transactions. I've done some terminations. So you don't have the real-time data in quality. But in pre-production, we have the same data as production. So I can replicate easily in pre-production system. For the testing, what we do, now if you have two different systems, quality and the test system. Quality would be logged in by your business users and the test system, your consultants would be logging in to test the scenarios. Okay. Or if your customer want to do some projects, do some analysis in a different instance, they can have a projects or some other instance. So they want to see first performance management. They want to, now they're live with our Employee Central. They want to use performance management. Before configuring it in the system, they want to see what functionalities are available. Now you give some prototype. To do that in the projects, some sample template, and then give a demo to the customer. Once they look at the demo, maybe they want to have some changes. They'll see if those are possible in the system or not, and they will come up with their actual requirement. That requirement, you will be doing it in the development. Again, the same process. We follow the same process of development, quality, and production system. Okay. Clear on landscape?
So Venu, one thing. So the success factor consultant play a major role in the development system, right?
Yes.
Venu, just wanted to ask, like this landscape which we are speaking about, development, QA, this is a part of an instance system or how it is?
No. Each and every system will have both provisioning and instance. Dev will have provisioning and instance. Again, the features would be enabled first in the provisioning, dev provisioning, and then we configure it in the dev instance. Same configurations, you do it in the quality provisioning and then quality instance, production provisioning, production instance. So every system will have both provisioning and instances.
Okay, got it. So when there are more than 3 stages, as you said, pre-production, test, and project. So are they before pushing from QA to production, or it's after production? Like
Now,
normally,
some of them like pre-production is a copy of production. So when you say copy, you first have the data in production system, and that data is moved to pre-production system. Quality is before production and pre-production is after production.
okay.
When you are moving your changes, you're moving changes from quality to production and from production to pre-production.
So after going from QA to production, isn't it better that we can have a place where we can, check it before releasing it?
That's what you're doing it in quality, right?
Yes.
You're testing it in quality. Now see, if I have to hire an employee, I don't have to first hire in quality and then do it in production. Now the hiring process is tested in quality. Okay. And then once it is live, you will directly doing it in production system. You have 10 employees to be hired, you go do it in the production. You don't do it in the quality and then do it in the production system. No. That is duplication. Once a process is certified, now the business users have certified that, saying that this process is working fine. So you move it to production. From there onwards, you'll be using production system. Okay.
Hi, Venu.
Yeah, hi.
Venu, I have a little clarification regarding this functioning. In
Yes,
case,
absolutely.
in SAP, there are three functions, like right, like development and quality and production. So, in case the customer means entrepreneur request for the any kind of fourth one, as you said, like pre-production, pre-testing, like that. So, as you said, like that, we need to purchase. So, what is the
Yes.
process actually in case if they ask? So, how we need to proceed further?
Now again, customer will always approach the consultants or the implementation partners.
Okay.
They will approach implementation partners saying that we want to have one more instance to be configured. We want to take license for this. This can be, sometimes the systems can be only for a period. So I want to use it only for 1 year, next 1 year. Or I want to use it for next 6 months. So they pay to SAP. SAP will be enabling that system for customer. Okay. Or
is this our responsibility?
Either they can directly come to implementation partner does that for customer, or customer can directly reach out to SAP also.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Now, all of these configurations and the data that we process in these systems, where does this data get stored? Since this is a software as a service application, this is a cloud application. So all of the data that we store, process, and manage gets stored in the server called data center. It is called data center. So SAP would be allocating space for each customer in the data center. And we have different data centers across the globe. Region-wise data centers. US has got a data center, Virginia. UK has got a different data center. Middle East has got a different data center. Germany has got a different data center. Australia, New Zealand has got a different data center. Depending on the time zones, we have these different data centers. And these data centers are numbered like DC 04, 08, 06, 011, 55, 64, and so on. I'm giving you an example, DC4 or DC8. Let's say DC04 is a data center of US. Data center of US. You have multiple data centers within US also, but let's talk about one data center. Let's say data center 04 is for US customers. All the customers of that region of US will have their data in data center 04. Okay. Now, here if I say customer 1, customer 2, and so on. I have 10 data. Let's say 10 customers. 10 customers in data center 04. This is data center 04. So you have dev. Everybody will have dev, quality, and production system. Everybody will have this minimum setup, dev, quality, and production. Additionally, customer 3 want to have test system. Customer 4 want to have pre-production system. Customer 5 want to have, now they have named it. Now it is one additional system, that's it. Whether you want to call it as a test or a pre-production or a project or whatever name that you want to give, you can give. I want to call it as X and somebody else want to call it as Y, you can name it. Now this customer 6 want to have both test and pre-production. Customer 7 want to have these three systems. So this customer has got a total of 6. This has got 5. These customers have got 4. And rest of the customers have only 3 systems. They are going with the standard setup of dev, quality, and production system. Is that clear? And every system will have a company ID. Now, it is the name what we are giving, dev, quality, or production, or production, or test, or a project. That is the name that we have labeled it. But when SuccessFactors allots this instances, each of this system will have a company ID, a different company ID. So dev will have a different company ID, quality will have a different company ID, and production will have a different company ID. And each customer will have different company IDs here. So this customer will have total of 6 company IDs. Okay, and all of them will have both provisioning and instance. Clear so far? Okay. Now these data centers are split into 2 parts. Every data center is split into 2 parts. Now I have DC04. Okay. DC04 will be in preview, will have a preview and production. We call them preview DC04 or DC04 preview and DC04 production. DC04 preview and 04 production. Data center. This is the data center. Again, if I have DC11, you will see both DC11 preview and DC11 production. DC10 preview, DC10 production. So like this, every data center is split into 2 parts. Now, where will my development be and where will my quality or a production system be in? Production will always be in production data center. So DC04 prod. This will always be in prod. This will be in preview. This will be in preview. This can be either in preview or in production. Usually DC04 prod. So that means every customer will be using both the preview and production data centers. The production system will always be in production data center. Usual practice, this would be in preview, this would be in production. Or some customers, if they want to have this in production and this in preview, can also do that. Initial setup when we do, you decide where you want your development and your quality system be in. Now, these can be either in preview or in production, either in preview or in production, either in preview or in production. I can have 3 in preview, 3 in production, fine. I can have 2 in production, 3 in preview, fine. I can have 3 in production, 2 in preview, that is also fine. But the thumb rule is always the production system would be in production data center. One of it will be in preview and one would be in production. Okay. Okay. Clear so far? Any doubts? Here on data centers, landscape, types of system that we have discussed. Yes, go ahead.
And just to avoid confusion and just summarize, like every customer are marked into a data center. Every customer are available as per the regional data center.
Yes.
Where they have company as where they have the company ID associated for each system, like dev, Q,
Yes.
and prod. And then this dev, Q, and prod are additionally marked, split into 2 system, preview and production.
Yes. Now, why they have split the data centers is because of release management, and we'll talk about that release management in tomorrow's session.
So Venu, the quality system will be in either preview or production or only in the production?
Now, if this is in preview, this can be in production. Ideally, one in preview and one in production. So now this would be in preview and this would be in production. But again, if customer says, no, I want to have this in preview, this in production, and this in preview, that's fine. But this cannot be in preview. This is always in production.
So the quality system is depend only upon the customers, right? So if the
Yes.
customer want to be in preview, then it should be in preview.
Yeah,
But as in
usual
production-
recommendation would be development in preview and the testing would be in production system.
Productions, okay.
Okay. Okay. We stop it here for today and we'll connect back tomorrow and discuss on release management. Yeah. Thank you all.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, tomorrow we may not have session. Again, your representative will be coordinating with you. Maybe if we are not connecting tomorrow, we'll connect on Monday.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay? Yeah. That he will be communicating with you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
then.
you.
Thank you all. Bye.